It's 7 o'clock. I don't know if any of you are here yet. So if you're here, just give me a comment. Let me know. And as usual, we'll spend a few moments, just a few minutes waiting for everyone to pop up. You just drop me a comment. Okay. Hi, Clet, Karen, hi. Alison, good to see you all popping up. I think my laptop just has a bit of a delay in bringing comments through. So we'll just wait a minute or two, as usual, and then we'll carry on. Last week we ended up talking about crystals and meditation, and I really felt that I wanted to start this week with meditation, just to talk about that again, particularly for those that are only just beginning, but also for you guys that have, like myself, that have been doing it for a long time. So I want to talk about that, that level of meditation where you get to and you feel like you can't quite meditate any longer, that there's no focus, or you don't want to go on a journey any longer, and it kind of gets to a stage where you say to yourself, this isn't really kind of working for me any longer, and it's almost a chore to meditate. And I can say that because I believe that most people do get to that stage, unless you are an avid meditator that meditates every morning without fail for years on end. There's very few of those about, I'd imagine. So I want to talk about that, and just check to see how many people are here. Oh, good, there's quite a lot of you here. So we'll motor on. There's quite a few of you already showing up. And there's more coming as we speak, so that's great. 13 so far. Okay. So meditation. I can't remember what we left off with last week, but what I wanted to say, which I think I didn't get time to say last week, is that meditation really is not so much trying to experience the spiritual, or trying to see beautiful colors, but meditation is the art of merging with your soul and your spirit. So when you do merge with your soul, then you get spirit guides, you get beautiful energy, and maybe things will come up for you that you need to heal. Sacred spaces and senses is where we left off. We were talking about that, and then I think we finished with meditation and crystals, Cleta, as far as I remember. But okay, so, and you're creating a sacred space within your own energy field, and not, you can create a sacred space in your surroundings, and maybe create a circle of energy or whatever. Hi Rasheen. Meditation is about making that space of your energy field sacred, merging with that space, because that's your soul energy. So merging with that space and lifting the frequency of it by quietening the mind, by silencing the ego. Do you remember last week we talked about the two streams of data from your brain? That you take in the stream of the physical senses, you take in all of that sensory information, and the brain processes that, but yet there's another more spiritual stream of information that's coming in response and alongside your physical senses, and that's your intuition. That's coming from your soul. That's coming from your soul's awareness and greatness and experience in other lifetimes and so on and so forth. So meditation helps to quieten the mind, to soften the tension within the body. I think we were saying that. Once you relax the physical body and the physical muscles, then the nervous system gets a chance to relax. And what really helps the nervous system to relax is for the mind to quieten, and for that spiritual, intuitive flow of data to be what's flowing through the nervous system and what you experience. So yes, you do, with most meditation, you do have a tendency to use your clairvoyance and your clairaudience and clairsentience and all of that there, but not necessary, because the true art of meditation is about coming into the silence within. It's about coming into that now moment, that 0 point. And it takes years and years to do this for anybody that's just beginning. It takes years to come to that experience of 0 point. And some of you out there are already experiencing that 0 point. I call them your God self experiences, glimpses of God's self. And it feels silent and deep and quiet and very very much I am. So the art of meditation that I want to speak about right now is, I would like you guys, even those that are beginning, to practice this maybe every day this week until we come back again. The art of coming into the silence, because when you come into the silence and you experience this spirituality of the crown chakra, which is that beautiful violet color, it's the connection with God, or whatever you might call beloved source, the eternal one. When you come into meditation and you connect with that soul energy, that reflects the root, remember? And as long as you're not going off on a little journey outside of the crown chakra, as long as you're not astral projecting outside of your body, then you're going to stay in. And because this reflects this, then you're going to come deep, 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 and it's going to feel like you're deep in your body. And there is no trick to coming into the body. We're going to be talking about healing today and clearing energy, and clearing the energy of your illusory mind, your illusory soul, that is in the way of experiencing the deep silence of your soul, which is connected and is off source. And so when you quieten the mind, when you silence the mind, you experience the spirit, and the spirit experiences the soul. So the part of you, when you meditate, that experiences the deep silence is not your ego. It's not even your mind. It's your spirit. It's the true you. And so you're already merged, body and soul, or body and spirit. You're already merged. There is no trick to coming into that silence. Anybody can do it. The issue with it, and some of you who have still got to do your healing will understand this and experience this. The issue with it is, when you do come into that silence and come into your body, and when I'm talking about this, I always drop my voice because it helps me to come right down into the body. And we'll be talking about that when we're talking about sound, but and body soul merging. But I drop my voice because it helps me for my spirit to come right into my body, for me to experience being the spirit within the body. And when that happens, the spirit automatically clears anything that is illusory. And I'm going to go straight into this wee exercise that I want you to do for a week. There's no trick to quietening the mind. A lot of people, when they begin to meditate, are trying to quieten the mind. But the part of you that's trying to quieten the mind is the ego. And it will never quieten the mind because it doesn't want you to quieten the mind. Because if your ego quietens the mind, which is itself, it thinks it's going to die. And that's where fear arises. The ego is afraid that it's going to die. So we want to give comfort to the ego. We want to understand. I think we were talking about this. We want to understand the ego. We want to give comfort to it, but we don't want to give precedence to it. We don't want it to be in charge. And the best way to do it is to not try, because the spirit truly is in charge always. And the ego that thinks it's in charge and what it thinks it's in charge of, what it thinks it's controlling, is all illusory. And when you physically relax, and I mean just relax the body, relax the tension out of your muscles, and come right down into the body this way, then the mind automatically slows down and you stop thinking and you experience a deepness of your body, a depth within your body, and it feels round like the 0 point. It feels like the orb that you are. And I'm saying it as if it's really easy to do. It is easy to do. It's easy to physically relax. But the issue with it is that when you do physically relax, if you have illusory trauma and trauma, okay, I call it illusory, but trauma is not illusory, it's very real. But the idea of trauma, the idea of suffering, the idea of emotional turmoil, it all belongs to the ego mind. And although it's very real, when you experience the truth of the depth of your being, the depth of your soul, and that reality, then you will understand what I say by trauma and suffering is an illusion. But you will experience this illusion when you totally relax the body. And I was thinking earlier on today about an experience I would have had. Gosh, we're talking my mid-20s, so 30 years ago, in a group of people, and we were attempting to physically relax, to calm ourselves, to calm our mind. Because I used to take panic attacks, and this was a therapy that I was having. I could not physically do it because I was so tense and so frightened that to physically relax, it scared me. And yet I could do it. I could physically do it, but it was scaring me. So I would stop myself. Now, I would say most of you guys are not just as tense as that was. I mean, that was extreme. I was unconscious as well. So, not awake. Very severely depressed and that. So unless you're like that, you should be able to physically relax. And I'll tell you a very, very easy way of doing it. If you sit up straight now and sit on a chair, preferably a hard chair or the arm of an armchair, something where you're going to feel the seat against your perineum. So, that area, perineum. Oh, thank you, Megan. um, and you're going to physically relax. Just try, so you're going to, first of all, just relax the muscles. And I know your mind is still going here, that's fine, but relax the muscles. And for me, relaxing the muscles also means relaxing the muscles in my throat, which is why my voice comes deep. Relax the muscles in your stomach and your back, so that you might you're not maybe sitting so straight any longer. Relax the muscles in your legs and your feet, your hands. So just spend a few moments feeling your body getting heavier. And that's okay to be thinking about that. Just spend a few moments feeling the body getting heavier. And don't forget about your neck. Relax the muscles in your neck. And take deep breaths if you have to. And when you let go of that breath, just feel the body sinking heavier again. A lot of us hold tension in our legs, and our knees and our feet. So be very much aware of letting those get heavy as well. And don't be afraid to get so heavy that you think, gosh, I'll fall asleep. That's okay. You're not going to fall asleep. What I want you to do now is I want you to bring your physical attention or your mind to your perineum. It feels hard against the chair or the arm of the armchair. Feel the pressure against that part of your body. And try not to think too much now at this stage. But if you're thinking at all, think about how this physically feels. So keep focusing into how this physically is feeling for you. And I'm going to give you at least 30 seconds of doing that, of trying to just be aware of the physical sensations. And now most of you, if not all of you, will have felt some degree of a shift in the sensations within your body, even a shift in your mind. Your mind wasn't as busy as it was before, that it was very easy to feel relaxed. And if you practice this, and some of you may already have felt this, if you practice it again and again and again, even just a few minutes at a time, you will find that what you do physically experience is a feeling of almost sexuality, almost like sexual arousal. It's a sensual bliss, physical sensual bliss that you feel beginning to stir the bottom of your spine. And I'm talking about the Kundalini energy. People who do yoga practice exercises like this all the time to raise the Kundalini energy. For those who don't know what the Kundalini energy is, the Kundalini energy is a store of psychic energy that it's almost like a reserve of energy that is at the bottom, that rests at the bottom of your spine. And some people see it like a resting, sleeping serpent, snake. And when the Kundalini awakens, the snake begins to rise up the spine. So all the chakras open. Now, I want you to practice that exercise that I described to you there every day this week. Maybe even a few times a day if you can. It only takes a few minutes each time. And what you will begin to experience is that physical, it does feel really good. It feels like a spiritual awakening at the bottom of your spine. It feels like sensual bliss. Don't worry, you won't get carried away with it. When my guide Black Elk first began to ask me to do this, I had a very real experience of sexual excitement. And I was like, oh my God, Black Elk, if I continue to do this, I will have an orgasm. No, you won't. You won't. But I tell you what you will have, guys, when you experience it. It took me months probably before I got to the stage where what I experienced was a full body spiritual orgasm, and like an energy orgasm. And it wasn't the type of orgasm that you have when you're having sexual intercourse with a person. It's more like that it spreads throughout your body, and your fingers and your toes and everything tingles, and there's a rush of heat, and you really merge with your soul in that moment. That is probably the most powerful meditation that I can describe to you. And it's something that you can begin to do today. It is easier than you think. The only difficult, if we can use that word, part of doing that is that when you do come into that deep silence, or you do feel that arousal, your ego, your shadow self, your traumas, your fears can show up. But they don't have the same power. It's like the part of you that's experiencing this, which is your spirit, experiencing your soul. That part of you looks at the traumas and looks at the fears and recognizes them, but doesn't act on them because it's detached from them. The only part of you that reacts to trauma, illusion, suffering, fear is your ego. And if you can master the art of physically relaxing the body, bringing your awareness into the perineum, and increasing over practice the experience of the Kundalini energy, then you are one with your soul. Your spirit is very much present and in charge, and it's clearing your energy field. As you do that, probably the best way of clearing your energy field, unfortunately, you cannot do that for another person. You can certainly energetically bring them, merge them body and soul, but you can't force their ego out of the way. The good thing about doing this for another person, merging their body and soul, is that when their ego does drop its control, even for a while, even for a moment, they will experience the merging of the body and soul. They'll experience the healing that you've done, that soul-body union that you've done. Jonette Crowley, a friend of mine, she's an author from Colorado, I think she's from. Yeah, Denver, Colorado. She coined the phrase soul-body fusion. And soul body fusion is exactly what I just described. She has a particular way of doing it that's not the way that I described, but it's the same thing. And to me, you can look that up if you want, soul body fusion, Jonette Crowley, and see how she goes about it. But to me, that's the same thing. And it was my first awareness of a merging body and soul. My first awareness of it mentally, but my first awareness or first experience of it was when Black Alex said to me, I want you to sit on that armchair and I want you to relax your muscles, and then I want you to bring your awareness right down to your perineum and physically feel what's going on down there. And I had a soul body union, a soul body merging. So it does. Says it feels really good. It does. It feels really good. What you are experiencing is the authentic you. The I within is experiencing itself. So your ego is out of the way. And even if you do that for a few minutes every day, that's a hell of a lot better than going through every day trying to meditate, trying to see beautiful colours, because it's just the ego that's playing that game. And it has its own purpose as well. I won't say that soul body union, soul body merging is the only way to meditate. It definitely is a very powerful way of meditating, and it's a very powerful way of healing your energy field, healing your soul. But it's not the only way. It's a very quick way, but it's not the only way. When I first started meditating, I went off on journeys. I like to listen to guided meditations. I think what do you call Doing Virtue, who's kind of not in that game any longer. She's kind of gone off in a different way, and she doesn't do with meditation and all that any longer. But that's her choice. I still like to meditate. She did a lovely wee chakra clearing meditation. I don't think you're going to be able to get it anymore. But I've got a CD of it, and I used to listen to that all the time and clear just the seven three-dimensional chakras. And I'm going to do something like that with you today. I'm going to bring you into each chakra, and then I'm going to bring you through three-dimensional, fourth-dimensional, fifth-dimensional, and I'm going to get you to clear that, and I'm going to make it very, very quick. Because if I've learned anything over the many, many years of doing guided meditations, clearing my energy field, what I have learned is it can all happen like that. It doesn't have to take years. But it did take years for me because I just didn't know what I was doing. People out there, I suppose, weren't on the same level of frequency as they are now. So I wasn't in contact with those people. But you're in contact with me. You're listening to me. You're sitting there watching me, and I'm a mirror of you. So you are absolutely ready to heal like that. Otherwise, you won't be hearing this coming back to you. You wouldn't have manifested this. I love that. So let's talk about clearing energy. That's how to clear energy. The spirit clears your energy. And if you were to get initiated into Reiki or do bio-aura or therapy or something like that, you will be using spirit to clear people's energy fields. Mediums will maybe channel the spirits as well and do spiritual healing. Shamans can do spiritual healing as in psychic surgery, psychic healing. And a lot of people would do maybe hands-on healing. That's okay, Emma. A lot of people would do hands-on healing, what I call magnetic healing, and that's when you just use your hand chakras. But what you're channeling through your hand chakras is spirit, whether it be your higher spirit or spirits, the spirit of Reiki, or the spirit of maybe a crystal, or the spirit of maybe a team of spirit guides that you have, like me, a team of healing guides. So it's always the spirit that does the healing. Some people like to say it's God that heals. It's the spirit that heals. And of course, the spirit is of God, the eternal one, the one spirit, or whatever you might want to call that. And so my experience with healing has been like my experience with meditation, where I learned bit by bit along the way that I was not separated from spirit, was not separated from the person that I was attempting to bring healing for. And that the spirit that was coming through my hands, or coming from my solar plexus, or coming from my heart chakra or my third eye, that spirit, those beautiful colors and that beautiful energy that I felt, was a part of me. I am spirit. Spirit is light, and light becomes energy. So when I talk about body soul merging in the moment, and when you come into your soul, and the I am that's present, the I that's present right now, is your spirit and not your ego, that spirit clears your energy field. It brings everything back to truth. And what it's actually doing is, it's not healing anything. It's not changing anything. It's just taking your awareness out or away from the illusion of shadow, away from the illusion of suffering, or the illusion of pain, or the illusion of trauma and wounds. And it reveals the truth. The soul emerges through the shadow. The light overcomes the shadow. And that's essentially what healing is. Healing is not fixing something. Healing is remembering, revealing. Revealing is a good word to use there. You're channeling the spirit, and when the spirit is present, the light is revealed, the spirit is revealed, and the illusions that you carry disappear. But the journey from doing Reiki, for example, say Reiki level 1, where you're doing hands-on healing or whatever, or you're sending healing through magnified through a crystal or something like that, you're sending somebody light and love. The journey from a sort of a lower level, if you could call it, of healing, to the absolute awareness that I am light, and bringing that light present then reveals the truth that nothing ever needed healed, ever needed fixed, that the person is one with spirit, one with the divine, eternal one, just as I am, because she's a reflection of me too. And when it comes to the energy field, then you can see the various levels that a person's awareness would work through. And when you are initiated with Reiki, or you start a hands-on healing practice, or you just start to work with your hands, experiencing someone's energy field, then there's 5 different layers that you feel there, that you can experience. And as we work through those layers, the awareness of spirit, the awareness of light becomes brighter and brighter and brighter until you're fully aware of light, and then the light completely reveals itself. And I popped a chart or diagram up on the group today, week number 3 in the photo albums. And you can see the 5 different layers there. There's the physical body in the middle, in the center. And then next to the physical body is the etheric body. And then there's the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. And these subtle bodies they feel as if they're going out like this. Okay? They're really going in. The energy field it's like a reflection, a first reflection of what is actually within you. Okay? Of what's coming from this 0 point. So from 0 point, you arise or you emerge, and you take on 5 different bodies: a physical body, an etheric body, an emotional body, a mental body, and a spiritual body. Now, I'm sure you can imagine you take on a spiritual body first, because everything begins with being spiritual, and then you take on a mental body, and that word is sent forth. I think I remember talking about that in week 1. The consciousness is sent forth, the mental energy is sent forth, and then there becomes then an emotional body, where it's taken form, taken on a feeling or sentience, sensation, atmosphere. All of that is to do with the emotional, and then it takes on an etheric body, where it's like you can see it, like the energy field that you see around the trees that I told you about, or the energy field that you see between your fingers. You can trace it with your hands. It's around a person's head and body. That's the etheric body. That's the energy field. And then, of course, the aura, as I said, is the emanations, the colours of that are emanated out. And a person's aura can be massive, or it can be close to their energy field. But when you begin to heal, you first of all begin to experience those 5 bodies. So I think I remember asking you to put your hands around objects, people, flowers, particularly things that are alive, and feel the different sensations around the energy fields. This week, if you use a person and bring your hands, very, very close to the person without touching them, and you'll feel the etheric energy. The etheric energy feels like it moves against your hand. So whenever I'm putting my hand close to my chest here and feeling it. When you put my hands close to my chest, I can feel the energy of my body coming from my chest here. I can feel it's warm. I can feel it moving. If I was in pain, if my chest was bad, or my lungs were bad, my heart was bad, or whatever, then I would feel like a coolness, like a coldness. But usually a sensation of heat means that that's a healthy energy field. And move your hands out a little bit until you don't feel that same level of energy any longer, but maybe out to about here. And wait until you feel something else. And what you're experiencing then is the emotional body. You can work with a person's emotions that way. And I'll explain that in a moment. But you move out again, and I can still feel my energy field, but it feels much cooler, lighter, not as dense. It doesn't feel like energy so much anymore, but it feels a little bit like air. And that's because I'm experiencing my mental body, around the mental subtle body around my physical body. And then if you go out a bit further again, then I've totally lost contact with any sensation of energy, and it feels like a nothingness, like there's nothing there, but actually I'm connected with my spiritual body. Think of it this way. When you physically relax, you're touching yourself, you feel your physical body. That feels very dense. It feels very physical and dense. But if I says to you to imagine what it feels like around your body, then you kind of don't feel that physicality anymore, but you feel something almost like it, and it feels a bit like atmosphere. If I was to tell you then to move up into your heart and feel again, then what you're going to feel is still not physical, but you're going to feel emotional energy. You're feeling your emotional body. And if I told you again to move up into your head and thought and try to feel your thoughts, you can't feel your thoughts, but what you kind of feel is like as if the physicality's disappeared, and it's really just like air. You kind of feel like air between your ears. And if you move on up to the top of your head, then you can get a very distinct shift where you feel like something is moving there, but you're not quite sure what it is, and that's your spiritual energy. And the reason you feel it at the top of your head, as opposed to not being able to feel it with your hands out here, is because when you bring your attention up here, your crown opens and you start to experience the spirit, and it's the spirit then that's feeling the body, the physicality, even if it's only the head. When you're doing healing and when you begin to work with healing with someone, you will work with all of these 5 bodies, and you'll work with the spiritual first, and you maybe might be working with spirits or whatever, and then as you come closer to the body, you're working with the mental, and you might get maybe thoughts popping into your head. If when you come closer again, you're working with the emotional, and then you'll see that the person is starting to get very emotional. Energy is moving underneath your hands. It feels a bit like water, and then you go very close to the etheric body, and it feels like definite energy, heat moving underneath your hands. And then, of course, you go closer again, you're touching the physical body. And there's not much that I can say to really help you to inspire you with that gift of healing, or that gift of feeling the energy field, other than to practice putting your hands around living things, and even things that are not living, like a vase. Put your hands around it, or a stone or something. A stone is living. Put your hands around it and feel the level of energy around it. But particularly human beings, practice putting your hands, against maybe their heart chakra, and then maybe their solar plexus, and their different chakras. Yes, the sensations will develop over time, and they'll develop with your ability to relax and trust in yourself. I remember, and I bet you if I asked you to say yes, there'd be a whole load of you will agree with me here. I remember when I first started working with healing with people in 2002, it was around the end of 2002. And I would get so, because I was so easily communicated with spirit, I'd put my hands around people and I'd be trying to feel what's going on. And I kind of would feel something, and then an hour would pass and I haven't really felt anything, and I'd be talking to spirit, and then see the moment I let go, see the moment I gave up and stopped trying, suddenly it was there. And I could feel it underneath my hands, and that was because I wasn't trying. So it's that thing again, where the person that's trying, the part of you that's trying, is the ego, and that's never going to work. That's never going to happen. So you can, I often hear people that do Reiki 1 or Reiki 2 or whatever talk about doing an hour's healing with a person, and maybe 3 minutes of that was quality channeling energy into their etheric body or into their emotional body or whatever. So it takes practice, and it'll take time, and it takes confidence and trust in yourself. It takes the ability to trust that something is happening even if you don't feel it, because it's your ego that wants to feel it. So if you just do it, and do it with your partner or your daughter, or someone that won't care if they're lying there for an hour and you're not doing anything. Trust me, you will. But if you do it with those people, so that you don't feel under pressure, so you don't feel like, oh my God, if nothing happens here, this client's going to say I'm useless. I have had those thoughts in the past many, many times. And if you do it with them, if you do those that you trust, and just say to them, gosh, I'm feeling something now, or I'm feeling some energy now, and ask them, do you feel anything? And the chances are, if you're feeling something, then they're feeling something. And remember, it's the spirit that does this. So if you don't physically feel anything, so what? As long as you trust, and as long as you release the need to feel something, the need to be doing something, then it is happening. Trust me, it is happening, because every single one of us is more than capable of channeling energy, especially through our hands. We channel energy from our heart all the time. We channel energy from our solar plexus all the time without even knowing we're doing it. We're emanating love, we're emanating anger, we're emanating compassion and help for others all the time. If we see a person in dismay, and our heart beats fast, and we're almost in tears, and we're projecting this compassion towards that person, believe you me, you are sending healing to that person. And if you were to totally relax in the knowing of that, and that you don't even have to try to do it, just feel what's happening. Just be open to what's happening in your body, and don't try to stop it. Then that person will receive a flow of compassion, healing compassion from you, that will be really powerful. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking in one of the what would you call it, the words lost now, not premier, but in one of the other workshops. So healing then it's a process of working through the 5 subtle bodies, the 5th one being the physical, not so subtle. But until you practice working with the spirit, then you can't work with the mental body. And until you practice working the mental body, then you're not going to work with the emotional body. And if you don't work with the emotional body, you're not going to work with the etheric. And if you don't work with the etheric, you're not going to affect the physical. So nothing's going to change. So just practice, I would imagine, practice bringing your hands closer and closer and closer to a person until you feel something, or practice putting your hands on your loved one and then taking them away stage by stage by stage and feel, okay, I feel your etheric body, I can feel your emotional body, I can feel your mental body, I can feel your spiritual body. Now here's another trick that shamans do. All shamans, all mediums, all great healers will do this. Most people call it being an empath, and they see being an empath as a bad thing. Being an empath is not a bad thing if you can control it. And by control, I mean if you can allow it to happen without judging it, so without getting the ego in the way, then empathy is a really good thing. Empathy inspires compassion, which is movement. Empathy is movement in itself. So if you're working on a person, say you have your hands over their emotional layer, and suddenly you start to feel emotion, don't judge it. That's where most healers go wrong. They start to try and read it, and they'll say, well, that's not my stuff, that must be your stuff, and what's going on and all the rest. Don't even go there with your thoughts. Just feel what you're feeling and let it flow out. And if you cry, that's even better, because that's your emotional body, which relates, and we'll be talking about this as well, which relates to your lymphatic system, which produces tears. That's your emotional body, that's your lymphatic system kicking into gear with the process of creation and the process of transubstantiation, which is taking what is already physical and bringing it back to light, to truth, substantiating it, recreating it. So healing is the process of transubstantiation. It's the process of recreation, rebirthing, exposing the shadow, revealing the light as being what is. And it's a process that works through spiritual, mental, emotional, etheric, and then physical manifestation. And that's all to do with your physical body. And this is way too much to be talking about in this course. So I'm going to do a workshop specifically for that as well, so that you can really experience through your body the power of transubstantiation. So I'm going to be teaching you that in two ways. I'm going to be teaching you it through just connecting with light, bringing the light through your body and emanating it out. And I'm going to be teaching you it also in a way that you can understand what's actually physically, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually happening within your body in order to do that, in order to take something that is substance and bring it back and down through your energy field, so that you are empathically feeling it and receiving it and changing it according to light. So letting the light expose the illusion of darkness, and then emanating out the light as it is true. And that physical thing then reveals the light in its physicality. So it's recreated, rebirthed. And that's what rebirthing is. When we talk about rebirth, shamans talk about rebirthing, that's what that is. So two things for next week, and I'll just take a note so that I can remind you later. Two things for next week is the meditation of sitting in the what I call the seat of your soul, the Kundalini energy, and just allowing light to the light of your spirit to be present, and then you'll merge your body and soul without even trying, without having to try. You'll merge your body and soul, and it's probably the only self-healing tool that you'll ever need. And the other exercise I want you to try every day is, well, maybe not every day, but try it a few times, is get someone that you trust that doesn't mind if you stand with your hands over them for an hour and nothing's happening. But get someone like that and practice healing using your hands. You do use your mind to heal. You use your throat chakra to heal. You use your heart chakra to heal, your solar plexus to heal. You even use your sacral energy to heal. All of those things you will use to heal. So, and I'll talk about that when we're doing the other class, but premium class. But for now, it's enough to know that because all of these chakras, when you're emanating that energy out, heals. When you're emanating that light out, it heals. So too do your hand chakras, and that's why that works. So you're bringing everything through your hand, spirit, light, to your hand. There are different healing techniques, such as Reiki. Reiki being probably the most popular healing technique, I think, still today. A Reiki practitioner would say that Reiki comes from a pocket of the universe, or an aspect of the universe where it's you have the Reiki symbols, Reiki intention, and that's fine. To me, how I understand that is that because the healing that I do, I would say, comes from my healing guides, which are many, many, many healing guides. I mean, that's probably one of the things that I do best is healing. So I've got those guys talking to me about healing all the time, and I've developed a healing therapy called photon light therapy from them, which is a spiritual healing, but it also has mental healing attributes in the course of the therapy, also emotional healing attributes in the course of the therapy, also etheric healing attributes in the course of the therapy, and physical attributes in the course of the therapy too. So it's a very holistic healing that's done distantly. But so I would say the healing that I'm emanating into this person's energy field comes from this pocket of the universe that is my spirit guides, my spirit team, or if you like, my higher self, my soul, my oversoul, my union with all of these frequencies. And do you remember in week 1 we were talking about your consciousness, and that you separate, a consciousness separates itself and seemingly into different bodies, zillions and zillions and zillions of different bodies. Even I'm talking about a leaf, never mind a human being. That leaf is me as well. Every cell of the universe is a piece of your consciousness, and then we bring all that consciousness back to 0 point, which is the orb, which that I am consciousness. When you work with healing, you begin to work with maybe your higher self, or a particular spirit guide, or you're channeling spiritual energy from your crown chakra or from your heart chakra or something like that. And that's kind of low level, where everybody's, as I say, everything is separate and all the rest. But as you begin to come back, the universe comes back into that I am 1 0 point, then the frequencies and the spirit that you're channeling and emanating as healing is the entire universe, the entire cosmos. So when we talk about Reiki being a particular part of the universe, or my healing guides being a specific orb of frequencies of the universe, that's only part. That's only a small part of you. That's only a small part of what there is to channel for healing. And the more you grow and remember your I am presence, then the more you're channeling the totality of the universe, the totality of the cosmos, because it is the equal opposite of 0 point. It is everything, and 0 point is nothingness. Yeah. Okay. As anybody, Rahani, yeah, that's IET. They're also fantastic therapies, and if you know anybody that does those therapies, I would definitely recommend them. Bio Aura. There's so many. Photon light therapy. It's brilliant because you do it at home. You don't have to go anywhere. It doesn't cost as much. So yeah, and you get tools to work on yourself, with your own healing, that you when you've done it once, you can do it again and again and again. So, and I must just drop you a wee link about that. But definitely there's so many different types of therapies out there, but they're all really doing the same thing at the end of the day. They're all bringing the presence of light, the presence of spirit, and emanating that, or channeling that from the hands, or channeling it from the mind, or from the heart, or from the root, or whatever. And in the just to finish up on healing, in the premium class with healing, I'll be talking about the fact that if you want to get to the stage where you are healing a person on a physical level, that you're actually making physical changes, rather than maybe just spiritual changes and mental changes and emotional changes. If you want to get to the stage where that healing is being integrated right through to the physical body, then two things have to happen. The person that you're working on must have that integration going on. They must have faith in the therapy itself, in the healing itself, and therefore then they will integrate it. But they will only integrate that healing according to whatever level of frequency you're at. So if you've got a blocked root chakra, if your root chakra is not enlightened, and you haven't really spent time merging with that, or your sacral, and maybe you're just in the 3-dimensional solar plexus, and that relates to the etheric body, then the etheric body you will affect. The physical body you won't affect, because the physical body relates to the root. So if you can bring etheric changes to a client, and they then try to integrate those etheric changes, the good thing about affecting the etheric body is, if you affect the etheric body, it does have an effect on the physical body. The physical body feels it, but to completely integrate holistic healing, the healer must be holistically present within their root chakra as much as they're present within their crown chakra. Okay. And again, it's a process. When I started out with healing, I certainly wasn't affecting the physical body. I was very much working on a spiritual and mental level in those days. But what happens when you work with healing with another person, because they are a reflection of you, then you work with yourself. Whatever you emanate out into the universe to affect the universe, you take back again. So you get what you give, basically. And the healer that I had way back in 2002 when I came out of hospital, I think I remember telling you about that. His name was Matthew Lennon, and he used to say to me, Eliza, you know what I'm doing for you, I'm doing for myself. You know what the healing I'm doing for you, I'm really doing for myself. Well, of course, I didn't understand it in those days, but you guys understand that now. Oh, just keeping an eye on time. Great, super. So let's talk about using sound to heal, to affect the energy field, to heal the energy field, to bring light presence rather than ego presence. And I love sound because, like color, you see today I have this beautiful blue color on. I love to wear turquoise and white. Because those to me are the Lemurian colours that I'm connecting with now. And turquoise and white are they're very soft, clean colours. That they're the colours of a sort of an enlightened throat chakra. And an enlightened throat chakra is the ability to merge body and soul. And the Lemurians way back then were very much human beings that were very capable of merging body and soul. So there are many of their frequencies of their auras probably were this beautiful blue and white colours, also a nice soft pink as well. But I like to use colour to affect my energy field. Colour and sound are the same. They're vibrations. They have a frequency and they vibrate at that certain frequency. So when I'm looking at the beautiful color turquoise or a lovely turquoise sky or turquoise ocean, you feel those frequencies, you experience those frequencies, and you really experience them here. You know, it's a clean color. It's the color, as I said before, of God, which is a sort of a deeper royal blue, but it's the color of God or divine source, the eternal one, flowing into the body. And so, this is, mental energy is out of the body, as the God energy, the crown, comes through, it flows into the body through the throat and out of the body through the sacral, which is something that we'll be talking about in the premium class. So I like to use sound, I like to use colour to affect the vibrations of my energy field. Because if you have a high frequency and a lower frequency, and these two frequencies merge, the higher frequency will overcome the lower frequency. The lower frequency, which is an illusion, in a way, a shadowy form of the higher frequency, which is spirit light. So the higher light will overcome a denser light. Light overcomes shadow. And then the shadow becomes light. You turn on the light, then everything's light. The shadow wasn't. It's like it was never there, because it wasn't really. It was just, I suppose, an illusion. You could call it that. So I like to use sound, and I began to use sound way back in 2002, the end of July 2002 actually. So this 19 years ago. I learned Mongolian overtoning. If you've got paper and pen, you could take some notes now, but not necessary. I'll take a note here to draw you up a chart of it. I'm going to go through the chakras with sound, and like before, I'm going to show you how to affect the chakras, the 3-dimensional, the 4th-dimensional, and the 5th-dimensional chakras with sound. You can also use color at the same time. So let's begin with the root chakra. And you can start at the crown, or you can start at the root. It doesn't matter. I always start at the crown, but today I'm going to start with the root. And of course, the color of the 3-dimensional root chakra is red. The color of the 4th-dimensional root chakra is somebody help me out here. What color is the 4th-dimensional root chakra? I can't really remember. I'm going to have to draw you up a chart. The 5th-dimensional root chakra is a platinum color. Let's stick with the 5th dimension, the 3-dimensional and the 5th dimensionals. As you imagine this beautiful red color in your 3-dimensional root, so you're using color. You can maybe even use something red and put it over your root chakra or whatever, you know, but you can use your imagination to imagine the color red, and also use sound and bring it right into your body. So do you know the way I asked you to physically bring your awareness into your root chakra, into the perineum, with your physical awareness, with your attention? We want to do that, and at the same time we want to imagine a beautiful red color, and at the same time we want to sound the sound of the vowel that corresponds to the sound of the root chakra, and that's the vowel U. Now, where I'm getting this from is a thing called Mongolian overtoning. And the Mongolians that did overtoning used the 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, to work up through the chakras, to produce harmonics. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give you an example of those harmonics. Take a drink of water here. When we talk about the Om, the sound of the universe, which is the creation, the Big Bang or whatever, in that Om, if I position my mouth in certain ways, I'm really saying A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, as I say Om, Om, Om. I am saying A, E, I, O, U. So I'm just going to sound the Om. I'm going to begin to sound it really slowly so you can hear those harmonics after a while. So I think you could hear the harmonics clearly enough of that. Each one of those notes, that's what we're going to use now to basically break the Om into 7 pieces and work up through our chakras with it. The first one, the root, is the U, and it sounds something like this. And with that, you might have heard, like, it's hardly audible with the root chakra, but it's like like a depth of sound, like a pit down there, and it's very soft, like it's almost like a wail, and you can hear it almost like an echo coming up, and it's a very, very soft sound, a very deep, soft sound. And you can hear the note and the sound of that you're making, but you can also hear this other thing underneath it. That's fine, Catherine. And I'm going to write these all down in a chart, and next week we're going to start to practice that. But very quickly, if I was to work with my root chakra, so we've already ascertained last week that the root chakra is about being grounded. It's about personal security. It's about roots. It's connected to your physical body. So if you've got something physically going on in your body, you'd work with your root chakra. So excuse me a sec. Ruth is saying my African grey is reacting to. What's an African grey? A dog reacting to sounds, and also he has red tail feathers around his root chakra area. He's shaking his tail, which is a happy sign. Is that a dog? Yes. Fantastic. Yeah. Animals do react very much to the and to the overtoning in particular. So yeah, we're working with the root chakra. You would work with the you, and you could, if there, physically, you need to physically heal something. Say, for example, a child fell and hurt its leg. Put the child up on a table, put your hands on its leg, and bring your awareness right into your root chakra. See that red vibrancy of your root chakra vibrating as you sound the sound the U, and let all of those emanations come through your hand chakras as if you're doing hands-on healing. And you're physically healing that wound. You'll be physically healing that wound. Oh, he's a parrot, not a dog. Yeah, an African grey. Excuse my ignorance, Ruth. I didn't know that. Okay. He'll be saying it to you now in a minute. Let's go to the sacral. Same thing. If you want to work with someone's womb energy, for example, maybe their menstrual energy, maybe somebody's emotional body, because the sacral reacts to the emotional body or the etheric body as well, and perhaps they've got something emotional going on, maybe something that, let's say, for example, their sexuality is affected, or their awareness of self is affected. That shows up very much in their sacral energy, the ability to be master over their life, their ability to create their own life, their ability to control their life and feel comfortable within their life, and that they have a grip on life. That's the sacral energy. It's also about being able to manifest, being able to create beautiful art, all kinds of expression through the physicality is to do with the sacral energy. And to heal that, we just simply put the hands on the sacral. You can do it with your own chakras. That's what I used to do. I used to go up and down the chakras, my own chakras. Put your hands on your sacral, visualize the orange, and sound the awe. It's between ah and it's between O and U. It's a sort of a awe, and it sounds like and you hear those frequencies coming over the top of that note. That's light. Sorry, my husband just came in. He forgot I was doing this. And he went, those frequencies that come over the top of the sound, that's light. So the frequency, the vibration that I was making within my root chakra, within my sacral chakra, was very much opening up the sacral, and the sacral's light was present, and the sacral's light represented itself as that sort of higher frequency coming over the top of the note that you could hear there. Then you'll move up to the solar plexus and the yellow, and it's a sort of an O sound. Visualize the golden yellow. Put your hands on your stomach. And these are all parts of Aum. Aum. They're all parts of it. Move up then to the heart, and it's an ah sound, green color, of course. Ah, ah. You could hear that very clearly, the overtoning. We'll quickly move up and then we'll go back down again with the fifth dimensional. Then move up into the throat chakra, the beautiful turquoise color. And it's an I sound, very soft I. Now, the more you heal the chakras using sound, the more the clarity of the overtone will come through, the clarity of the light will come through, because your chakras are becoming enlightened. So even if you did this practice every day, then you're healing your energy field. So many ways that you can heal yourself without going to a healer. I'm doing myself out of business here, but without going to healer, there's so many ways that you can heal yourself. And that's how I did it myself. I stopped going to a healer after 2002, and I began to work every day on myself. First of all, with these signs. Second of all, with merging the soul and body with that chair exercise and coming down into the perineum. And my energy field cleared, and I healed myself. So the third eye then is the ah, A as in EH, and it sounds something like this. So you've got that beautiful midnight blue color, indigo blue, and it's and you can feel the vibration up here. It's like when you use the crystal bowls and you're sounding the third eye bowl. It's very patient, sharp. And it really makes your head vibrate. And then up into the crown with a violet color and E. Your dog's barking, Ruth. Is he? Oh, the parrot barks like a dog. Thinks he's a dog. The Ruth's parrot thinks he's a dog, and he barks. Is he barking now? Because he's very sensitive to these energies. Oh dear. Maybe even put your parrot into a different room if it's disturbing him, Ruth. We don't want to disturb the poor thing. Okay, so that's I am going to write this out in a chart so that you can practice it, but you begin with the third dimensional chakras and move up through the scales, and then come back down and work with the fifth dimensional chakras. You could skip the fourth dimensional chakras because, you know, pretty much now we are in the fifth dimension. You're in the fifth dimension. Let's work with the fifth dimensional chakras. Excuse me. Coming down to the root with a platinum color, and again use the same sound, the U, but with a beautiful platinum color. Then come up into the sacral with a sort of a magenta pink, and use the ah sound up into the solar plexus. It's like gold with rainbow colours through it, and that's the O. You might even want to bring it a scale higher. So instead of ooh, then you're you might even want to bring it up a scale. But find a scale that you're comfortable with. I mean, I start very high and then I keep going down a scale and down a scale, and it's difficult for a woman to do, to oh, but it's just as beneficial for you to come down a scale as it is to go up a scale. If you go up a scale, then the frequency of light that you're reaching is higher. But if you go down a scale, then you're bringing that light deeper into the body. So you're manifesting more into the physical world. So up and down, up and down, up and down, and just play with it. The fifth dimensional heart chakra then is divine white light, divine white light. So blinding Christ light. That's the fifth dimensional heart chakra. That beautiful white light that you've been practicing bringing in. Study that, and it's and you can go up or down. So the lower you go, the more you bring it into the body. I'm no singer, so I don't know if those scales are exact, but just play around with it. At the end of the day, it's energy and vibration. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be anything. Just experience it. The fifth dimensional throat chakra then is a royal blue, which is the color of God, and said to be the color of God, a royal blue, which is why I think the sky sometimes, in a really intense summer day, is almost like a royal blue, sovereign blue. And again, with the soft I sound, it sounds as if you're saying I, but you bring it very soft. It almost ends up like ah. And again, play with it up and down. The fifth dimensional third eye chakra is crystal white light, and the same as the fifth dimensional crown chakra, divine crystal white light. Now, when you reach the crystal white light of your third eye and your crown chakra, which essentially are the Christ and God energies within your body, when you do reach that frequency, then your energy field takes on the shape of a tetrahedron. And I put up in the photo albums today, I put up a figure of a tetrahedron with a crystal grid in it, just to show you that shape. And it relates also to what you call a Merkaba diamond. And a Merkaba diamond is clear crystal light, a clear crystal, and it's many-faceted like a diamond. And it corresponds to your energy field that is awakened to the fifth dimensional crown chakra. And the energy field around the earth at the moment has achieved that excuse me has achieved that frequency. It happened about 2 years ago, and everybody was talking about their heads being really sore. It's like their crowns were open and they were getting pains. I remember getting severe pains in my head But when your crown chakra is opening, you will get these pains in your head. Specifically, a couple of years ago, when the consciousness grid around the earth really established itself, and everybody's crown chakras just went open, and this clear crystal light frequency started to pour into the physicality of the earth, and that's why everything is being shaken up. Was going to say you're wild high. I can't be a soprano, Colette. I used to sing soprano in a choir, and I used to sing tenor as well. So I can go quite low, but I never sang bass. I never could go that low. But yeah, I would practice. Okay, so that's about sound. Also, what you can do with sound, of course, that's going to heal your body. That's going to heal your energy field, as good as the other body soul merging will do as well. As long as you're bringing light present physically into your body with vibration. Color's great, but sound's better. Then you're healing, you're affecting your energy field, you're clearing the shadow and bringing the presence of light. Okay, let's see where we're going now. We've talked about body soul merging. Oh yeah, crystals. So I wanted to talk about a wee bit more about that, and I'm glad then that I talked about the Merkaba diamond. Merkaba, some people call it the Merkaba. You'll see that word floating about. I'm sure many of you already have. That is your energy field. Your energy field is like has its own facets, has its own shape. When you connect to the fifth dimensional crown chakra and that Merkaba energy, your energy field takes on that sort of it looks like the shape of a tetrahedron, which is a 12-pointed star. It's a three-dimensional figure with 12 facets, 12 points, and it kind of takes on that shape. And it's a wee bit like a Merkaba diamond. Merkaba diamonds are like that; they're multifaceted, and the more facets on them, the better. And this is your energy field. Your energy field becomes that. And I'll tell you what it is very, very simply, that Merkaba diamond. If you look at a two-dimensional view of a Merkaba diamond, you see like a six-pointed star, and that's a sort of a very phallic symbol. I'm trying to make a triangle here, a phallic symbol. Oh, where is it? There. Which is the divine masculine symbol, two-dimensional. And when you merge body and soul, you merge it with its opposite, a no drawer, which is that shape. Then you get that, the six-pointed star. And when the six-pointed star then comes into three-dimensional physicality, becomes a tetrahedron. And that's where we get the Merkaba diamond from. So I want to talk about Merkaba diamonds. I didn't know I was going to talk about this, and I want to talk about this as well, which is Lemurian seed crystal. These kind of all crystals are energy. And all crystals are energy that don't have to deal with duality. So there's no ego, there's no illusion. There is just body, soul merged. And this is the form. When all crystals then are Well, because everything in the universe is, as you already understand, everything in the universe is a piece of you. So every little piece of physicality, whether it's a cell or a leaf or a tree or an atom or a bone or a human being, every single piece of physicality in the universe, even if it's water or ice or calcium or a crystal or a gemstone or a rock, every single piece of physicality in the universe is a representation of a piece of you. And crystals, like for example, the amethyst cluster that I showed you last week, that amethyst crystal is, you could say, a representation of your crown chakra. Rubies are representations of your root chakra or your heart chakra. And Lemurian crystals, clear quartz crystals, are representations of the fifth dimensional crown chakra. They're the representations of the tetrahedron, which is your energy field, your many faceted or multi-dimensional energy field. I hope I'm not losing you here. And each one of these Lemurian seed crystals and each Merkaba diamond is a representation of one whole soul, one complete soul within themselves. This one is mine. This one is the representation of my soul. I would say representation of my Akashic records. And everything that I see within this crystal and feel from the crystal, I'm really connecting with my Akashic self, with my whole self. All of the information and data that exists within the crystal. You know that clear quartz crystals absorb energy, they absorb data, they hold data, information, intelligence, spiritual intelligence, or light. That's what spiritual intelligence is. That's what information is. It's light. And so crystal holds this information, holds the data, holds the light that is the Akashic or the totality of my soul. And when you connect and open your fifth dimensional root chakra, there is a crystal out there in the physical universe that is the living physical mirror of it. And you can find that. You just resonate, or you call it, it'll come. When you're ready for it, it will come. Merkaba diamonds are the same. And here's something else I'll say about tetrahedrons and Merkaba diamonds. These multi-dimensional, multifaceted, almost crystalline light energy fields can get so subtle, so light that when you astral travel, they spin like light, and when people see them here in the third dimensional world, I tell you what they look like. They look like UFOs. And I often wonder, is that what UFOs are? Because I know that your energy field when you astral travel is your light body. That's what you're traveling in. You're traveling in your light body. So are those light bodies, those UFOs that people see in the sky, are they someone's light body that is traveling? Are they a human light body, or are they a galactic light body? No. So if they're extraterrestrials, is that their galactic light body? That's their spaceship. And of course, then, like everything else that's light in the universe, there has to be a physical representation of it, and that's maybe the physical spaceships that governments find or whatever. We're not going to get into all of that. So we're not. But I find that fascinating subject. because I know that there is no difference between my light body, no separation between my light body and this physical crystal. Orla is asking, does it mean anything if a Lemurian seed crystal accidentally falls and breaks in half? Well, maybe it's not yours, Orla. Maybe it wasn't yours to begin with. Maybe you got the wrong one. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it was someone else's, and then it'll reform itself, and not all the person will find it, or maybe they already have it, but that one wasn't yours. We can manifest not mistakes, because there are no mistakes, but we can manifest crystals and things like that come into our life that are maybe only coming for a reason to teach us something that isn't us in our totality just yet, but it's teaching us something, and it's saying, okay, I'm with you for a while until you remember this about yourself, and then, Orla, whenever you remember it, then it kind of goes, okay, bye, I'm off, because it's making room for the new representation of your energy field to come, the totality. Or maybe it belonged to somebody else. Maybe it wasn't yours in the first place. But yeah, I believe very strongly that what's yours will stay with you, and what's not yours will go. If it's not right for you, it will go, and there's a lesson in that. Yeah, you buried it in the ground. Yeah, I think so. Bring it back to the earth, give it back to the earth, and it'll find its way back to manifestation of its next work, its next job. I mean, we as human beings, as light workers, we keep talking about our divine purpose, our work, what it is that we're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. This is the work that I'm doing right now. Well, crystals are the same. They're blessed enough not to have egos, but they're doing the same. And in week 6 we'll be talking about our crystalline selves. So we'll be elaborating a wee bit more on this. The fact that we are these crystals. We are them. This is called a Lemurian seed crystal, and it's called that because this is the soul in its totality, and it sends pieces of itself into incarnation. Seeds of itself, it spreads seeds of itself into incarnation, and all these tiny crystals everywhere, separate souls everywhere, which was me when I was separated, many different various lifetimes, and now it's all become one. So, Lemurian seed crystals are becoming more and more popular now as people have realized and remembered their oneness and manifested that into their life. Oh, what do you think about moldavite crystals? I love moldavite and tektite. They're wee pieces of meteorite. A moldavite can be, you can get a wee small piece. It can be very expensive. Tektite's not so expensive, but they're pieces of meteorites, as I say. And again, I think, Mariana, what you're thinking is onto the lines of the Lemurian seed crystals, that perhaps they're a part of you. And I think that's true for all crystals. All crystals are a part of you. So if you get a crystal that really speaks to you, don't let it go. Don't give it away. It's yours to work with. And if you get one that really connects to your root chakra, one that really connects to your solar plexus, and so on, keep those, work with them, use them for healing. And then in week 6 we'll be talking about that one crystal that corresponds to your crystalline self. Yeah, you have a tiny piece of moldavite. I have a tiny piece of moldavite too, and a piece of tektite. And when I first welcomed those pieces of crystal into my life. It was about 2004, 2005, maybe 4, I think. I was very much in the throes of shamanic journey and through the cosmos at that stage, and I totally felt holding the tektite. I totally felt a sort of a masculine energy, and from it, and felt that this was my divine feminine energy. And then the Moldavite, I got them both at the same time. I didn't even know really what I was doing. Blackout told me to buy them. and I held the Moldavite, and I really felt my divine feminine energy. And I thought, of course, this is just like representing two major parts of me. And of course, I'm the child or the marriage between the two. So I used to do this ritual where I brought them together with me, and we'd go off on a journey together, I'd be holding one in each hand, and we'd go off on a wee journey into the cosmos. And this was me complete, in my divine trinity, a mother, father, masculine, feminine, child, or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so imprinting and energy grids. I have enclosed 2 pictures there of energy grids. One's on the tetrahedron, and one is just a small circular grid that I've made myself. And I've put a wee explanation underneath the photos. Check out the photo album for this week. Thank you, Mariana. She said I could listen to you all night. Thank you so much. I like to hear that. I could talk all night too, couldn't I? I could talk forever. So yeah, energy crystal grids are a very powerful thing to do. Crystal grids is the same thing as imprinting. It's taking what you want to see within your energy field, the energy that you want to flow within your energy field, and marking it on the earth in a physical way, in some way. I mean, even creating a medicine wheel is a grid, is imprinting a grid on the earth. So one of my there's another example, tattoos, another Rose, the character of my books, Rose, and of course the Rose is the divine feminine. This is a star to remind me that 6-pointed star to remind me of the tetrahedron self. All of these things, anything that you use to mark something on the physical world, whether it's your body or whether it's your garden or making a crystal grid on a table, all of those things are ways of saying, look, this is my energy field. This is what's happening in my energy field now. This is the flow of energy. This is the frequency of energy. So one of the first things I did was get my tattoos. The next thing that I did was I made a medicine wheel. So I had the center stone and I had the 8 cardinal points around it. Now I make crystal grids. The reason I'm making crystal grids at the moment is for the mastery retreats that I'm doing, creating these mastery retreats. I'm learning from the masters. Excuse me, I'm downloading these retreats so that you guys can benefit from those journeys and connections as well. Not that you have to, but it's a way. It's a way, and I provide that way, and they're beautiful, and it's the way that I do it. So I like to make an energy grid as well as journeying with the masters, because I like to mark what I'm doing in my astral self, way out in the mastery levels of my energy field. I like to mark what I'm doing there onto the physical body, onto the physical world, so that I merge body and soul together. And of course, every time you come into the body with that exercise, coming down into the seat of the soul, into the perineum, lifting the kundalini, then you're doing the same thing. You're bringing what was out there and bringing it right in, and marking it on the earth is a very, very good way of doing it. You can make things like spirals um, on your earth. You can, with lovely stones. I got a lady, I think she's listening tonight. I got a lady one time to buy lovely crystal beads, all of these crystal sort of, not crystal beads, but glass beads, cheap glass beads, coloured beads, and make lovely imprints or designs into concrete with cement, maybe, and cement them in so they're always there. You can put them on walls, you can put them in the concrete, you can put them around your garden with big rocks. Just make spirals going in, and that it entrains the energy of your environment, your garden, your energy field, whatever. It entrains that energy to start to flow in and spiral out again. So whatever way you want energy to flow, you use crystals or rocks or whatever to mark the pattern out on the earth. And I'll not use up our time by explaining the crystal grids, because I've explained them underneath the pictures, and I think they're pretty good explanations. Just know that, you remember what we said about crystals, they magnify their energies. So if I hold a crystal to my heart chakra and magnify out through a rose quartz to you, then you're receiving magnified the emanations of rose quartz frequency. If I was to put a rose quartz on the table and then use a pointed, just a clear quartz crystal, even this, but even just a wee shard of clear quartz crystal with a point, then it directs the energy from the rose quartz into another crystal or into the center of the grid where I have a representation of myself. In this case, I have a sort of like a little African ornament and a flame, and that's representing me. And I have rubies, which is the crystal I like to use. I have rubies all around it, and I have clear quartz points, taking the frequency of the rubies into the center, into the representation of me, and that's me saying, this is what's happening in my energy field. So if you wanted to bring heaven to earth, if you wanted to say, okay, this is the divine flow of energy, and you want to say, I want to bring that divine flow of energy and I want to put it here in this area of the earth to heal the flow of water in the earth, and maybe to heal a person's body, or to heal a tree or something like that. Mark it out on the earth. Mark it out there in that place. And even if it's only temporary, the Tibetan monks and Buddhist monks, and that they would have made mandalas. Is it mandala you call mandalas? These beautiful circular patterns, and they were more or less saying, that's my energy field. And then they always destroyed them because that was part of their teaching, because everything's transient, nothing's forever. And this is, they marked out the energy grid and they said, that's the way I am. But then they destroyed it as if to say, and I'm not going to always stay like that, because I keep flowing, I keep changing, everything changes. Okay, so great. We've got 6 minutes to go, and for the first time since we started this course, I'm up to date. I think I'm up to date. Thanks very much for tuning in. Again, we're halfway through. It's just flying, absolutely flying, and I'm loving every minute of it. I've got some homework to do. I'll have it all done by tomorrow. You'll have some homework to do. I'll put that out there. And so watch the wall of the group and and uh, and do your homework. Yeah, so you'll be doing two things. You'll be doing the meditation, coming into the perineum and doing that soul body merging, and you'll be practicing healing by putting your hands over a member of your family and just feeling the energy channeling through your hand chakras and experience feeling their energy and how that shifts and moves. But remember, when you're doing that, guys, remember to not try. So it's only when you stop trying that you actually experience it. You're not going to experience it unless you stop trying. So trust and let it flow. And whenever you do feel something, try not to judge it. Just let it flow. Let it happen, and just trust. Because you know what? I always say this, and I like to use the term God. God knows what it's doing. You know, the light knows what it's doing. It doesn't need our egos to get in the way, because when our egos get in the way, then the shadow falls and it's nothing's happening. But once you take that illusion of the ego away, then suddenly you see what the light is doing. Thanks very much. Patricia Darcy. It says Patricia Darcy is watching. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in tonight, and as always, remember that if you have any questions, just send me a wee message, or maybe even put a message out there on the group page, which is fine as well. If you don't want it to be public, then send me a message, and whatever it is you're working through, we can work it out together. And I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you very much, Alison. Fascinating course. The premium workshops will be fantastic for you too. You know, so I'm going to start putting them out now soon. Get yourselves signed up to those and spread the word, guys. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this 6-week thing again, but I will have all of these sessions that you have helped me with. So I'll have those. I'll have them on video. I'll put them together as a package, and they'll be available for people, your friends and that aren't on the course, or they can sign up now and just go to week 1, 2, 3 and watch those videos, you know, before next week, which was absolutely fine. So it's okay to jump on board halfway through, but once it's over, then I'll have to find some way of putting it out as a package. Fighting of not. Thank you, Orla. And you know, we really are only the tip of an iceberg here. It would be great to do a session where we're all talking to each other and you guys just fire questions at me, because there's so much you know, understanding, and what I'm trying to do, I think I did say it in week 1, was what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to simplify what is not simple. I'm trying to simplify the intricate, the extent of knowledge, and simplify it so that it really touches your DNA, opens up your DNA, and then when you keep it simple, and you know that those light codes open up your DNA, then you personally will remember all of this awareness and become aware of it all according to your own soul. So you may not use the same kinds of words as me. You know, one person likes Buddhism, another person likes paganism, another person likes Wiccan, you know. And it's not to say that one's better than the other. They're all talking about exactly the same thing. They're all talking about the light, and they're just using different words because they've had different experiences and different soul experiences and different lifetimes. So that's why I like to keep everything as simple as possible, to bring the intricate into simple. But when someone asks me a personal question, or asks me something, then we can go into the intricate and get really sort of deep into a particular concept, that way. Because when I'm faced with a soul like that, then their guides come in, my guides come in, we see who they are, and we're not just talking to one person, we're able to hone in on that soul and speak that soul's language. Thanks very much, Anne. Okay. Okay, so time to say goodbye, and thank you very much. It's always difficult. Bye now. Big love to everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.